Who's the most unprotected, black men or black women? Talk to the people.
Honestly, I would say that straight black men are the least protected.
Woo, come on, get into it. Why you say that, bro?
Because nothing against any community. I love everybody, but there's more protection for gay black men than it is for regular black men. You know what I'm saying? It's more protection for black women than it is for black men. We don't really care about black men in this society. You know what I'm saying? From my opinion, you know what I'm saying? But this is the land of the free. You know what I'm saying? You can make your own destiny. Everybody has their own decisions and their own path to walk on. And if you make a bad decision, you're going to end up in a bad situation.
This is the Canaan system. We always keep it a whole stack. Let us know how you feel who's the most unprotected.
It's hard to feel safe here in the US especially. I'll be very honest with you. When I walk outside, people are scared of me, but I'm scared of people too. If I'm walking down the street and people cross the street, first of all, that makes me feel terrible as a person. I'm like, yo, bro, you don't even know me. And you're already I'm already perceived as a threat just because I'm walking. Can you imagine, my very existence in itself is a threat. So I know now people look at me as some type of threat. It's hard not to have a mindset where you're a little bit afraid because people perceive me as a threat. What do people do when they're threatened? And we don't even need to go there. So when you're walking outside, when that's your everyday existence, how can you feel safe? The only time we feel safe is when we're home. And even sometimes when we're at home, we don't feel safe because the people that are at home that are supposed to take care of us aren't taking care of us. And some of us have moms or dads that are abusive, whether it be emotionally or physically, right? So you really don't have a space where you're safe at all. And because you're a man, you don't even have a space where you can at least express the fact that, yo, I don't feel safe. You get what I'm saying? So you're dealing with...
We've all suffered some trauma. What's the one thing that has never left you from your childhood?
As far as trauma
is concerned, yes.
One thing that has never left me.
Yes, that one thing that's always in your head.
I have one thing that's is in the back of my head. Well, as a kid, I wore it as a badge, right? So when I was 8 or 9, well, I was 8. And my brother was 9, I had a family member that used to make us have sex with her. So being 8 or 9 years old, I could tell people that I had sex already. I'm not a virgin at 8 or 9. So all through my childhood and all through teenage years, that was a badge, saying I had sex before you. I've been doing this. But going into adulthood and then having my kids of my own and realizing how fragile a 8-year-old is at that age, it was wrong.
Wow. I have that actually on my notes because I don't know. I sometimes I think that these things are just going to pop up because we have this whole Me Too movement for women. And when the whole R. Kelly thing went down, R. Kelly's sister was molesting him and having sex with him when he was a young man. And he felt like it was a badge of honor. And he didn't get the help that he needed. So I want people to understand that a young man's innocence gets taken away as well as young girls. And we have to be aware that you had sex at 8 years old. We need to know these things, that these things are happening. So when we are dealing with you as an adult, as a husband, as a brother, as a father, then we know how to navigate through these things for you and with you to have some understanding and some empathy for your life.
Black men, because we are the most oppressed, we're the most traumatized. But you know what else? Because of our definitions of masculinity, which says a man can't be vulnerable to get help, we're the least likely to go get some damn help. Thanks. Black men are in pain, but we cover it up with the exterior. But when we get behind the privacy of our door in our home, we let all that pain out on the only person who loves us unconditionally, and that's the woman. You see, I always tell people this: if you don't like you, why are you expecting him to like you? Why are you looking for a relationship if you ain't got one with yourself first? You don't like yourself. Why are you shopping for?
Again.
If you don't like yourself,
Right.
why would anybody else like you?
Hey,
You don't even like you. And I'm
for
supposed to spend the rest of
somebody
my
else
life
to
with
like
you?
you.
That's insane.
yeah.
Black men are some of the most undervalued, disrespected men of our time. Not only do they have to deal with racial profiling, they have to live and work in a system that was created for them to fail. They're constantly being demasculated by their size or how much money they make. And it's done to them by the women of their own culture. We're the only women that will publicly humiliate a man based on the size of his anatomy and his finances. Only 15% of Americans are making over $100,000 a year. If you meet a man that's not physically or mentally abusive and has beat the system, he's already successful. If you feel like that you're lowering your standards based on how much a man makes, then you just don't need a man.
And it's like, I feel like black men are so, like, what's the word? Like, people expect black men to be so dominant during sex, too. Just because of, like, porn and just, like, narratives of society and shit. Like, y'all gotta be dominant in the world. Y'all gotta be dominant at home. You gotta be dominant in the bed. It's like, when y'all let y'all hair down? I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. He cracking up.
that's a
I'm
good
crazy.
question.
Like, when y'all supposed to, like,
But
feel,
me personally,
you know,
dealing with the behind the door stuff, that's not where I choose to do it at.
and that's to each his own.
Yeah.
To each his own. Like, it's no wrong answer.
No, that's
like,
valid.
it's really personal preference.
Nah, but I was reading something. It was talking about like the submissive, dominant type of like relationships and stuff like that. It was talking about like how in the submissive, like when a woman, like let's say, or whoever the submissive is, it's really like a place of power in itself. Just because
Being
like
submissive?
Because it's like they're not, the dominant is not going to do anything that you don't want to do, because if once you don't have consent for it, it's like it's over. Then that becomes an abuse. That's not a dominant. That's an abuser.
To the paper, the grass is always green. I don't do no labels. I call it how I see it.
You know, honestly, a lot of black women, we complain about not feeling protected by black men especially. And truth be told, that's because we intimately involve ourselves majority of the time with black men. And so when we get our feelings hurt by our black men, we all of a sudden want to project like all black men aren't protecting us. And it's not even that the man that we're dealing with didn't protect us. It's just that our feelings may have been hurt by whatever. And even if the hurt feelings are unreasonable, they still be there and we be feeling a way about our men. But I need a lot of our sisters to really recognize that, truth be told, nobody protects us better than black men. I mean, there have been so many times in public where I'm just out and about and a random brother made sure I was okay or saw that there was something sketchy going on and was like, hey, sis, man, it's sometimes I'm thinking of right now. And when I tell you, clutch, like literally, thank God. I can only imagine some of the situations I'm thinking about in my life. If there wasn't a black man there for me, would I even be alive? On some real, I don't even know if I'd be alive. So sisters, when we get emotional because our man has hurt our feelings or whoever hurt our feelings, something we heard on a podcast hurt our feelings, let's remember that even if you don't feel protected in that moment, that the reality is black men protect us more than anybody else on this planet.
Raw sex affects us worse than it affects men. Raw, unprotected sex feels good to men. It feels better than condom sex. So they will be interested a lot of the time fucking you without protection. But what comes from fucking without protection in regards to having children, it falls on you more than it falls on the man. It affects your body. It affects your hormones. It affects your stomach, your titties, your ass, your waist, your blood, your everything that has to do with your body being healthy. It affects you, not them. This is first. If it's supposed to be equal responsibility, why the fuck are we as women going through all of this before a nigga ever feel anything? Our value goes down. The men want to feel raw sex. You cannot make a nigga understand having a baby the way that women understand it because they don't go through it the way that we go through it. Even when they standing there alongside you holding your hand while you pushing a baby out, they will never understand it the way that we understand it. So the risks that come from fucking raw, it will always be different for us than it will for them. Sorry your mothers are not telling you this. For them. For them. Sorry your mothers are not telling you this.
When a man says, I'm tired, inquire, probe, demand him to elaborate because tired is different. Tired doesn't mean sleepy. Tired can mean that I'm tired of living, tired of going on, tired of moving forward, tired of just dealing with this life, tired of losing. And you know that your man does not take losing well. And you know that your brother does not take losing well. And you know that your father does not take losing well. Do you know that your son does not take losing well? So if it feels like he's losing in the game of life, he might not just take his ball and go home. He might go home and take some pills or a bullet. Your man's tired is different. He needs more affection, more energy. He's tired of dealing with the shit that's going on, tired of going on, tired of moving, tired of losing, feels like he lost anything, feels like he's not worth anything. And I know what you're probably thinking. Why can't he come to me and say that he's feeling suicidal like he tells me he's hungry? Because society doesn't let strong men say that I want to kill myself. Because society finds more value in a valuable man more than a vulnerable one. Because strong men have problems with saying words like weak and help. So we strong men push our pain deep inside our bodies, turning temples into tombs. Tombs turn into tumors and ulcers and self-doubt and anxiety until one day we don't know where we're gonna put it. And then, my best friend.
You want me to provide safety for you, but you cannot reciprocate it for me. I deserve to feel safe too. A number of black men internally, their internal world is not safe. And yet you want me to provide you with safety that I don't even know for myself. When I say to you that you've harmed me, you give me this rigmarole, that's not safe. When I tell you I'm tired, you get so wrapped up in your responses that you don't even give me the space to be fucking tired. That's not safe. I say to you that I don't feel connected to you. I say to you that you are not meeting my emotional needs. I say to you that I do not feel the way that you talk to me is uplifting and you continue to do it. That's not safe. But yet you want me to continue to go out in this world and come back and do all of this stuff. You don't want me. You want your idea of me. And if I don't fit that idea, you begin rejecting me. That's not safe.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
there's so many of us that are not listening. And so I hope that you guys watch this conversation, heard this conversation, because we all need to hear this. We all need to tune in with each other, be in alignment with one another, because once we do, we're going to be so powerful together.
No disrespect to what y'all got going on. I've been trying to find good people for so long. I'm tired, bro.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. Sometimes, like, late nights, I just cry like a motherfucker. Like, that's the honest to God truth. Like,
You know, I'd be lying to you to tell you that I didn't have days where, you know, it just got extremely heavy. You know, you kind of just shut down, take a moment to yourself to kind of regroup.
I'm trying to do my best, you know, and I think the weight to try to live up to everybody's perfect expectation of me has been really, really heavy for a long time.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm going through a lot of shit right now. I'm going through a lot of shit, bro. I'm going through a lot of shit, bro. I feel like I can't take this shit no more.
Don't want to hear no complaint. The day you come home and think you could be like, baby, I was down, I lost it. She gonna be stroke your ego, but she gonna remember that time. You cannot let them see you one time.
When's the last time you think you've opened up to a woman?
We don't.
They gonna tell you can.
Whenever something go down, they gonna throw it back in your face.
I've had.
Yeah, I think unfortunately, man, a lot of men would rather be miserable than vulnerable. And
Let me sit over here. I don't want to sit by him.
a lot of men would rather be miserable than vulnerable. And what I mean by that is a lot of us suffer from the I'm cool syndrome. I'm good syndrome. When in reality, we know exactly what it is that we want from you, and we be hoping that you figuring it out one day instead of us just sitting you down and saying, look, baby, I need this from you. And a lot of women, especially a woman that's in a relationship, a woman that loves you, if you're able to have that kind of open communication, say, baby, I need, again, not want, not would like, not possibly, I need this from you. She gonna make it her mission to meet you there. Yeah, I think unfortunately, man, a lot of men would rather be miserable than vulnerable. And
Unprotected. Black men or black women? Talk to the people.
a lot of
All right, sisters gonna hate me, but a black man is more unprotected.
Why?
And the reason I say that is because the black man is not only attacked in society, but he can be attacked in his own home, especially by a broken woman, a woman who doesn't.
Why?
And the reason I say that is because the black man is not only attacked in society, but he can be attacked in his own home, especially by a broken woman, a woman who doesn't know how to uplift their man. But I can't say that it's all around what I've experienced. If I have experienced a broken woman taking down a broken man, which we get the non-shit men in the end, we don't want to continue that cycle. And unfortunately, there's no therapy for a man to say, hey, I'm abused at home. There's no outlet for a man to say, hey, I'm being mentally abused or physically abused by my woman. It's considered weak. As soon as you say, I need a hand, I need helping, something, it's weak. So sorry, sisters, the black man is definitely the most unprotected, but my black man, he's definitely highly protected. I got his back, front, sideways, every which way.
It's hard. I find solace in just being myself and not trying to live up to anybody's expectations, you know. But it does bother me at times. I have episodes. It's like I've been dealing with it for so long. I know what it feels like when it's coming. So there's really no solution you can have. You just have to kind of like deal with it and ride this shit out. I say look for love, not from other people, but within yourself. And that kind of helps. But it's all about taking care of your temple. And if you're taking care of your temple, not only are you doing something, you know, for yourself, but you're also taking the time out to consider your health, taking the time out to consider being there for your people as long as you can possibly be, that kind of thing, you know. So that's what it was for me. And as far as the mental part of it, to cope, you do the physical. To cope with the mental part, you do the physical. It doesn't always work, but hey, I like if someone's out there right now listening and you're going through depression and all that shit, all I could tell you is I hope your today is better than your yesterday and your tomorrow even better.
You know what I'm saying?
You know I do this, son.
Listen, that was real.
Telling you,
That's a fact.
Drop the mic on him.
Yeah, nah, for real. Because it's like, yo, we like.
Who's more unprotected, black men or black women? Keep it a whole stack.
So when you're rich, black women are more unprotected. When you're poor, black men are discarded. So when you're poor, they don't want the black man in the house or around the family to build wealth. But if you already got the wealth, it's a woman that's looked down upon unless she got the wealth. So it just depends.